All right, guys. Welcome to the Sisters Talk Podcast King's Edition. Today, we have special guest, Mr. Frank Z. Jordan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Mhm.
And Aisya, introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Aisya Carroll. Thanks for joining us tonight.
And yes, we do apologize for starting off a little late tonight. We had a few technical difficulties, but we're up and running. That happens sometimes when you're getting good and deep into the truth. So tonight, for people who don't know, we're going to talk about, and this was actually Frank's idea. We want to talk about hip hop.
Throw them under the bus.
We'll put the blame on somebody. Kidding, but this is a topic based on one of his books. And we're going to talk about hip hop, whether or not it has helped or hindered our communities. This is something that we can probably date back to 30, 40 plus years ago. This very same debate that we're going to talk about tonight, whether or not rap is beneficial or is it harmful to our youth, especially, and also to our young forming adults. Side note, a lot of us think we're grown when we turn 21. That's just not the case. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole entirely different segment.
Oh, yeah.
So Frank, do you want to let everybody know the name of your book and where they can find it?
Yes. The name of my book is called The Greatest Show on Earth. And what this book actually entails is how white supremacy actually started, how self-hatred actually started within the Black community, pretty much. And what are the elements and what are the components behind self-hatred in the Black community?
I love that because this is something that we don't really talk about much in our community. We don't talk about why we don't love ourselves and our culture as much as we should. So this is an amazing topic. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, a very necessary topic too, especially nowadays in 2021 with the type of rappers that we have today. I just mentioned one the other day in one of our shows, Lil Uzi Vert. I love his music because it's a good vibe music, or instrumental that he uses a lot. But man, we're talking about this guy went and got a $24 million diamond stamped into his forehead. I mean, his face was swollen from this surgery. And, I think I kind of mentioned, Aisya, that he could have helped 24 different families by giving each family $1 million.
I would have took $1 million. I'll tell you that.
Frank, we always talk about this generational wealth. That would have been a great start for 24 different families. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you can afford to go out, and spend $24 million, just throwing it away like that, that goes to show you the carelessness and and it's like no discipline, when it comes to our people, with the carelessness they have of spending finances. No discipline at all.
Yeah, I agree. And no financial literacy.
Right.
I think sometimes our young Black men, they go into, or they gain this wealth either through a music career, athletics, whatever the case may be, and if they're not in finance, they don't really know that they're really throwing away the money in a sense. They're not really investing that money. That 24 million could have been invested in some way other than getting a diamond installed, in the center of your forehead. It just reminds me of that cartoon, Steven the Universe. If people watch that show, I was just like really appalled and really shocked. It took me a while to just kind of move past that article because I was in disbelief.
Right. What people got to come to the realization is that, like, quietly is kept, like, television, reality shows, and social media plays a big part in the Black community.
Absolutely.
Because everyone, not everyone, there's a few exceptions. What that brings about a competition, amongst us in the community. So it's one of those things that's like promoted. You see, you're looking at reality shows and you see someone, carrying a $2,800 Birkin bag. You see the nice houses, and what that does, that creates a competitiveness, within our community. And sometimes the competitiveness in what you see in the reality shows, it's not obtainable. And so what that does, that brings about a certain depression. And depression is big money in the Black community. A lot of people don't understand that, young and old, self-esteem, along with that is self-esteem issues. If you can't look like a certain person that's being portrayed as the portrait of beauty in a certain aspect. So what that does, that brings about low self-esteem if it's not attainable. And it brings about depression as well too. White America knows this. So that's
let's get into that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, keep going, because I have something to say on that.
Right. That's the reason why, they're gonna keep, the reality shows going, and they're gonna keep, because like I said, a long time ago, I mean, stupidity is at an all-time high, in Black America. I mean, hey, listen, let's just put it out there. So depression, is big business, within the Black community, because what it does, like I said, once again, it brings, when things are not obtainable, when you got that young 16-year-old daughter, or you got an 18-year-old daughter that wants to emulate, certain people that's on TV. And once that doesn't become a reality, depression sets in.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're at the doctor. Oh, my daughter, now she's to herself in the house, and, it's one of those things where, that's where the parent steps in. And you have to teach your kids, basic instruction on, what's reality versus what's good for them. A reality show, what's good for them.
I agree. Aisya, can't you attest to this? Because I know I can. I want to hit on a few things real quick before I forget. When you mentioned that, rappers, music, the industry as a whole, media as a whole, pretty much sets the tone for what beauty is, what acceptance is, what wealth and success really looks like, and things like that. It automatically brought me to a place of colorism. One major issue that we have within our own culture, and this is Black History Month, is colorism. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you, from being a light-skinned woman, the kind of ill emotions, ill friendships, ill intentions that were directed towards me just because of what they thought I thought of myself, because of what media installed in their heads. Now, I'm not saying that's not true for some people, because some people have that syndrome, but not everybody's like that. And on the other end of that spectrum, it made a lot of Black men devalue our Black women that are of darker skin because of the media and how it portrayed what beauty looks like. So we definitely need to address this issue. I'm sorry, Aisya, go ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. Absolutely. Totally agree. I'll share my story when you're done.
Okay, yeah, we're super passionate, y'all, tonight, because this is something it's incredibly relatable, and we all had to live through this. No matter what class you're from within the Black race, we've all experienced it to some extent, whether you wanted to admit it or not. And so I think this is vital, what you say, Frank, that as parents, we have to mitigate and bring back reality into the situation. Put that into the equation, and don't just sit your kids in front of TV and walk away. Because what that does, subconsciously, these children are sitting back. They're seeing images that are stored in their minds, whether you realize that or not. And then when they equate beauty, they see light-skinned Black woman with a fat round brown, or whatever you want to call it. And then when they see money, they think about selling drugs, because they're thinking about what Lil Wayne said in his rap music. And then, when you think about having money, it's like, oh, well, I got to show the world that I have money for them to know I just walked through. And you don't have to do that. Most millionaires, you're standing right next to them in the grocery store. You have no idea, because they have on a pair of Vans, a Walmart t-shirt, and Walmart shorts. But you don't understand the real value of real wealth and financial literacy, because you were never taught that. So parents, listen up to this segment. Frank is really spewing out some real hot gems. Teach your children to love people for who they are, not what they look like. Teach your children not to show the world what they have in their pockets, because it's none of our business. I'll pass the torch to you, Aisya.
Yes, I totally agree. I agree on every aspect of that. I don't know why my mic is Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I agree on every aspect of that, for sure, without question. I know for myself, being a brown-skinned woman, I experienced colorism my entire life, in corporate America, in school, from relationships. I was too dark for some people. And that affects you emotionally. And for years growing up, I was very, very skinny. And so I always wanted to gain weight because I felt I didn't have a big butt, or, I wasn't as thick as the other women because of my metabolism. And so we always are trying to figure out a way to be exactly like what we see on TV. And so when I became a parent, I decided to monitor what my children watched. Till this day, my children are at the stage where they don't really watch TV. Like, people come to our home and they're like, you guys don't even have the TV on. Why? Because it's natural. It's normal for us not to, because a lot of it that's on there is not good for our brains.
Yeah, you hit it dead on the nail. And let me say this too, and I'm gonna make myself very, very clear. Blacks and Latinos, we're naturally beautiful and we're naturally geniuses. We've been beautiful before social media, and we've been beautiful before television. We shouldn't need white America to tell us or set a standard or outline of what beauty is for us anyway, because they're the ones that control the media. And let me just put this out there too. And I'm going to give you the definition of melanin. Okay. Melanin. This is very important. The benefits of melanin. Listen up. It says research has found that melanin may help protect skin from UV rays. And melanin is just the cells that make up pigmentation. Okay. Which just so happens to be people of color. Now listen up. Okay, it says increasing, meaning the darker, increasing melanin may also help block processes in the body that lead to skin cancer. So how can having more melanin be bad for you? I don't understand that. How can being dark skin be bad for you when, it decreases the risk of having skin cancer? For many years, studies have shown that there's a lower incidence of skin cancer among individuals with darker skin. So how can it possibly be bad for you to have dark skin? This is the brainwashing, and this is white supremacy once again. Okay, with darker skin and people of non-Caucasian descent tend to have more melanin, meaning black people have more melanin in their skin. That means that it actually saves you from a whole host of things. Okay, as far as, so how can it be bad for you to have dark skin? It's the white supremacy. I mean, hey, listen, let's not play with this. That's what it is. Okay, now not to have melanin in your skin, the least amount of melanin in your skin. Okay, it now you're subject. Okay, to what? To a lot of skin cancer. Okay, to malignant cancer. Okay, those are facts. I mean, those are facts. SPF wasn't made for us. Those were made for Caucasian people. We go on the beach, we tanned up any damn way. Yeah. Okay, we can go on the beach, sit out there all damn day long. Okay, but if black and having melanin in your skin, if it was so bad, why do they have tanning salons? And why do they go to the beaches and hog up the beaches and out there like a rotisserie chicken, all day long?
Hey, I turned into a rotisserie.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you say you turned into
I do. I looked at one of the interviews I did. I was so red, but you're right. You're right. And that to me blows my mind. And it's an oxymoron for you to hate the one thing that you love to try to be. And that's the thing that people need to wake up to. Yes. I noticed that when I was in corporate America, people really hating on black people, really dislike black men, black women, didn't want to hear what we had to say. But you're out tanning every weekend in the summertime. 2 + 2 is not 5. You know what I mean? So it's just don't you hate what you can't be. Some people do. And not just white people. That can go for anybody. Whatever it is that you want to be that you can't be, it makes you upset. It makes you jealous. That's the actual emotion that I believe stems racism in the first place. There's a lot of jealousy going on. There's a lot of immaturity going on. And I feel like for us to get past it, our humanity as a whole, our entire race has to grow up. And Black people as a whole have to become more conscious and stop allowing media to pour into your subconscious, like Frank alluded to. That's very important. Your subconscious mind is your everything. And I don't think people are quite aware of that yet. And misery does love company. I agree with you.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's why I think it's very important for us to have shows like Sisters Talk, because we discuss the topics that people don't want to address. And so for me, as a darker skinned brown woman, it took years for me to actually understand and know my worth and my value. But I got it down. I tell you that. They can't take that from me. But we need to uplift the rest of the community so they can understand and realize their value. And that's why this show is so important. So share, like, and subscribe.
Right. Hey, check this out. I got some even better news for you. Look, this is a health report. It says 7 super health benefits of melanin.
Ooh.
Number 1, anti-Asian effects. You know that old saying, we can say it together. Black don't
crack.
Right. Okay, number 2. Okay, it says higher level of protection against skin cancer. We just went over that. Higher level, it says good. It gets you good eyesight, good hearing, stimulates the module of the immune system, and these are all the benefits. These are all the benefits of having melanin. Okay, and also of what? Of how can it be bad for you? Let me show y'all something, right? And how white America works. Okay, they'll tell you that having melanin in your skin, and they'll say, okay, they'll call you all kind of names, and you know when you were a kid, you know you huddled up in school and you had all kind of jokes, or the people you called them a darkie, or and as you grow older, you realize that that was really bad. That wasn't cool. Okay, so this sets a lack of self-esteem about yourself, and once again it brings on depression. Because why? Because this is the standard that white America has set. Magazines, you turn the page, you see the white woman. Okay, every Vogue issue of magazine that you see, and what that does, that subconsciously gets into your brain. Okay, and say to yourself that, man, well, maybe my skin is really bad. News reporters, it's growing up as kids on TV. You see white people, and subconsciously, what that does, okay, that tears your self-esteem down. To the point where you just feel like you're really inferior. You're a really inferior person. And so, what that brings about a subservient attitude. A lot of people, even today. Okay, you see a white man walking down the hall in the office building. A lot of our people can't even look white people in the eye. They'll put their head down. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. They'll put their head down. A lot of them.
I don't think any of us on this podcast do that.
Not us.
Right. But you still have a lot of people out there. Let me bring something to your attention, right? And what a lot of our people don't understand. It's a company out here called Palmer's, okay, and what they make, okay, is bleach cream, okay. And when you go into the store, this is the game that they play on our people, okay. And when you go in the store, you already know we got to sell most blacks got a self-complex. They got more melanin, not knowing that it's good for you. But this is the game that they play. I want y'all to pay close attention to this right here. Okay.
That looks like cocoa butter.
Right, but it's not.
A fade cream.
It's fade cream. It's bleaching cream. When you go in the store and you see this right here, and it's fade cream, okay, it's bleaching cream. And what they do, the first thing they put up there, you notice on top of that is skin success.
Wow.
So when you're in the store and when you're looking at this, when you're in the store and you're looking at this skin bleaching cream, you're looking at the word skin and you're looking at success, because success is what? Always associated with wealth. It's associated with everything that's good. So when you see the fade cream, okay, automatically you thinking like, okay, to be successful, I got to do what? I got to fade my damn skin.
Right.
Okay. this is something that Black people need to protest right here. Okay.
I agree.
And so
that's becoming a big thing right now in Nigeria and also in Jamaica. Those are two places I know for a fact. Also, the people here in the United States, some of these celebrities have made that a trend to go get skin bleaching, and I think it's ridiculous.
Right, absolutely. And that's the game that they play on our people. And what you're doing, you're actually ripping away, okay, the natural melanin that God
the natural protection. Yeah, the natural protection.
Absolutely. And this goes on, like you said, it's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of that going on, over, like you said, in Ghana, South Africa, Libya. Okay, it's a lot of that going on. And what happens as a result of that, like I say, our people emulate what they see. What they see. If you got a government that's in control, they're telling you what to eat, what to do, how to your kids, what to do. You're looking at these people, as a structure of power, and with that is associated with what they're saying must be right. So those saying, white is right. But when you go back and when you do the history and you research for yourself, you always find out quite the opposite, of what they're teaching and what they promote. Like melanin. I mean, melanin, if you have more melanin protects you, that's a good protecting from everything. How the hell can it be
SPF forever?
Right.
Like you don't need that. And that it's interesting that you bring that up. Because you have, like, not to beat up Lil Wayne too much, but hashtag him if you want to. I'll bring him on the show. It is what it is. We had the same conversation with him because I don't care. I want to know his thoughts anyway. What you say, Frank? I'm sorry.
Lil Wayne beating up himself.
Yeah. So I know that when Lil Wayne first came out, when the block was hot, I know y'all can attest to this. I used to listen to his music every day. Now, as he's grown and matured and became a man, he started making all this music that was condescending. That was, don't get me wrong, the beats were fire, but what he was talking about wasn't. And let's just be honest with ourselves real quick. A lot of these 80 babies, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. He went on a tangent, and then when he did interviews and people asked him about the condition with the Black community, about at the time when 45 was in, he said, it's none of my business. It's none of my concern. And while I understand why you don't want to be political, but this, look at where you came from. You came from Louisiana. Like, that's like the capital of Blackness. So why would you deny who you are, the root of where you came from, and why would you be irresponsible and not own your responsibility to make sure that what you put into the airwaves is something positive so that everyone can enjoy it? Now, granted, you're grown, you can make music for just adults, but I'm saying his way of thinking to me is not parallel to success. He's making the money, but you're not successfully educating anybody with your content.
Right. You want to say something, Aisya?
No, I agree totally.
Look, there's a difference between a beat and music. A beat consists of, like you just said, his beats. Okay, and that's exactly what most rappers rap to. They rap to beats. A beat equivalates into a sound, and a sound makes you react emotional. If you was to hear a loud shriek right now, what happened? You'll react to it. So a lot of times, a lot of people don't understand and they don't know that that's what rap is. They rap over beats that emotionally gets into your mind and make you react. They know this. Look, LL Cool J made a song a long time ago called what? I Need a What?
I need a girl.
I need a beat.
I need love. Which song?
I need a beat. Right. He made a song a long time ago called I Need a Beat. Houdini made a song also called what? Funky Beat. Okay, Dr. Dre, his headphones are what? Called what?
Beats.
Beats. It's a difference between beats and it's a difference between music. Music is collaborated with instruments, okay, that produce a frequency called harmony. Okay, it moves you differently. If right now, if somebody was if you was in a car, if a young Black man was in a car, and all of a sudden a rap came on and they're rapping over a beat. The beat makes them react. If they're talking about guns, if they're talking about drugs, what's that's gonna do? that's going to get into his mind. And 9 times out of 10, okay, 9 times out of 10, what he's going to do, he's going to react to that. That's what's been going on. Okay, that's what's been going on with most rap, not all rap, most raps. Okay, and they notice because it makes a beat makes you react. Okay, to the sound. Okay, and normally,
especially with our culture, especially we are connected with rhythm, with beats, with
it's from our history. It comes from
that's our culture. That's our root.
Right. It's a
so we can be manipulated with that, and as we have been for so very long.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's why it's very careful for you to be sure you pay attention to what your children are listening to, because they emotionally attach to what they hear. And so I play more now recently, like I'm learning more about meditation music and sound wave music, because it connects with your brain. It allows your brain to move a certain way, to maneuver in a certain way, to have either clearer thoughts or jumbled thoughts. And so that determines who we are as people. It determines our thought process as well.
You're right. You're absolutely correct. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn in the projects. Okay, and summertime come, you know, somebody got a boom box out in front of the building, you know, and they're playing that beat. And what you're gonna do? You're gonna react to the beat. You're gonna start bobbing your head. You're gonna start bobbing your head. Don't let them start talking about robbing, stealing, okay, snatching a gold chain, okay, smoking weed. And what that does, that symbolically gets into your mind. And what happens is that maybe you're going to think about it, maybe not today, Aisya and Danny, but if you continue to listen to it, you continue over and over, and you got black rappers like Snoop Dogg promoting weed on stage, crip walking with a blunt in his damn hand. Now what he's doing, he's making it out to look like it's cool. It's fun. You know, he's crip walking, having a good time, and he's smoking. And 9 times out of 10, what you're looking at, man, you know, that looked like fun. You know what I'm saying? That looked like a lot of fun. But it's nothing. Let me say this, right? Promoting gun violence within the black community, okay, promoting drug use in the black community, promoting drug, okay, sales in the black community. It's nothing good about that. I don't care who does it. I don't care what nobody say. It's nothing good about that. That is one of the biggest forms of white supremacy. That is one of the biggest forms of white supremacy that a lot of our people don't understand. Anytime you got a rapper, okay, that's talking about how much narcotics he sold off of the degradation, okay, of our people, okay, and he's rapping about it, okay, and really what you're doing when you rap about stuff like that, you're boasting actually about what you have done, okay, to your people. You're aiding, okay, to
what you've done to poison.
Bingo. You're aiding, okay, to what white America does. So that's the reason why they allow rappers. That's the reason why they like Cardi B, okay, and Little Kim to get in the way they dress, okay, and wear purple and red wigs. That's okay. As long as we look like Ronald McDonald, and as long as we're a bunch of damn fools, okay, that's what white America has made our people too, look like clowns, okay? Let me say this. It used to be a time, I wrote about all the stuff in my book. Look, it used to be a time, okay, when you would go pay, okay, a sideshow, okay, to see people with 1,000 tattoos, okay, on their hands and on their face.
What do you say now? That's the norm. I see that at the grocery store or down the street when I'm walking my dog. Like, that's a normal thing.
It's rare.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, like, we're not saying you do you. Everybody do what makes you happy, however you want to look. You want to dye your hair red tomorrow, do you. That's not what this show is even about. But what we're really more so focusing on is the subliminal messages and also the subconscious frequencies that's flowing through you when you listen to these types of songs. Even though you may not think you're listening to the lyrics, subconsciously, it's just like your mind and your soul is like a net. And it captures things that you're sometimes unaware of, because the human mind is not, we're not evolved yet enough as a human race to understand how our mind, body, and soul works. So we have to be very careful what we put around ourselves.
And I think that it's very important that we do not try to diminish or devalue people who don't have tattoos. It's so many people that don't have tattoos, but that's rare. So like, I don't have one tattoo. I've never had a tattoo in my entire life. But because I don't have tattoos, people say, oh, you don't have any tattoos? Like not one? No, I don't.
Right. I got a question. Hey, look, I got a question. When was the last time you heard an Arab, okay, talk about, their women, okay, call them, the H word, call them the B word. When was the last time you seen the Korean?
Heard it.
I agree. And that's one thing I've always noticed about our people. Like, we talk about how we don't want to be disrespected. We talk about this, that, or the other. And it's like, but what are we putting out into the universe? Especially when you're somebody that's a rapper or entertainer, you're literally pushing out content into the universe. Those are sound waves that go beyond this planet, maybe beyond this solar system. If you really put it into a scientific term, and so far and so far, infinite. You're putting infinite waves out there. And so eventually it will dissipate, right? But what I'm trying to say is, and I know a lot of rappers are going to disagree with this. They're going to say, hey, I don't make my music for your kids to listen to. That's your job. And they're right. It is your job to filter out what your kids see and what they hear. However, when you're writing your lyrics, please try to keep in mind the community of people and listeners and followers that you have, because after all, we are the reason why you're still going strong. We're the reason why you're in the $1 million house with the $500,000 car and whatever else you have going on. So I'm just saying, let's just, as an adult, let's just try to be a little bit more responsible, because the reality is there's a lot of parents out here who are not filtering what their kids see. They're not paying attention to what they're listening to. They're not. In some cases, it's impossible, because in order for them to keep a roof over their head, they have to work. Like, that's not even an option. So I'm just being realistic here.
Right.
And not only that, but media plays a big part into it. So if you're even if you're monitoring what your children are watching, you can turn on a TV show and you can hear a rapper sing something or rap something. See, I'm not even into rap, so I'm saying sing and rap. I'm mixing it all up. But you can hear a rap song in a show. And so if a child is watching a kids show and a rapper comes on that kids show, which they do for guest appearances, that child is going to be curious and want to know, well, let me hear the rest of this song. Let me hear the lyrics to the song. Also on the radio plays the clean version of these songs. And if you're driving in the car with your children and a song comes on and you're listening to the radio, guess what? They're exposed without you even wanting them to be exposed.
Right. Listen, one word is called accountability. Don't you know we're the only people that don't hold our people accountable for doing wrong? Just because of the sake of who they are and the prestige, honor, or the prestige status that they have in the society, because you may feel deemed and you may feel that you're going to be demonized, okay, because you have 10 people over here that disagree with you and you stand alone. Me personally, I don't care. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And I'm gonna tell you like this, the way that most of these rappers conduct themselves, they're not really good. I'm not saying all rappers. The way most of these rappers conduct themselves is not in a very good, not only a manly way, but it's not a good as far as being a role model, and what comes out of their mouth, the irresponsible, verbiage that comes out of their mouth, they spew. And like you said, Danny, a lot of people, they may say, okay, well, you don't have to go in the store to buy it. Well, why make it any damn way? That's what I don't understand.
I
why
agree.
make it anyway? Just like a lot of guys, you'll say, okay, well, there's a dude on the corner selling drugs, that made a rap record. One of the first things that come out of their mouth is like, I don't force nobody to come over here and buy it. Well, why the hell? Why stand out there and give people that choice to go?
Can I answer that real quick? Can I tag team right quick? See, the reality is, and it's the unspoken truth. This is what we talk about behind the scenes, but I'm gonna put it out here on the airways. See, You know how they always say, man, the industry's so rotten, this, that, and the other. And that's facts. And the reason why is because when you get to a certain level, they want you to sound a certain way. They want a certain message out there. And it may not necessarily be your message. And so you conform. Why? Because you want that money, right? You want that cheddar, you want the paper, whatever you call it. And so that is where the term "you sold your soul" comes from, because you converted who you were so that you can receive a financial gain. And now you've thrown away your responsibility to yourself, to your family, and to your community. Now, to your point, Frank, when you talked about how whatever we rap about or whatever we're listening to, so shall we be. Eventually, our thoughts will start to change and morph into whatever it is that we hear. You look at these young rappers who lost their lives, just last year, like Pop Smoke, Lexi, Aaliyah. You're talking about people like China, Mac P, Fred the Godson. Some of these people I don't even know. Little Marlo, Huey. There's another young brother. I can't. Yeah, it's another young brother. I can't think of his name. He was so pretty. He was a handsome young man in his early 20s, had children, lost his life through gunplay, obviously. But it was also due to the lyrics. It was his lyrics. He's literally fighting somebody through his lyrics. And when they finally met, it was no talking. It was only gunplay. So we have to, in order for us to stop the violence in our communities, it's what Frank keeps telling you and what Aisya keeps telling you, is that we have to watch what our children are listening to, because in their minds, they become drug dealers. In their minds, they become the robber. In their mind, kids are super creative and they have abundance of power that I don't think parents and adults really are aware of. And so when you allow your child to, you're not necessarily feeding it, but you're allowing them to access this poisonous, verbiage, then they eventually morph into the very people that you never dreamed that they would be, in a bad way. So we have to think about ourselves like water. We're like, what, 90% water? Or I can't remember the exact percentage. When you think about water, right, in a bucket, and you drop something in it expands out, right? You have wavelengths, it disperses, right? And I'm not trying to get too heavy into physics, but what I'm trying to get you guys to understand, and I think it's echoing through for a lot of people that's watching tonight, is that you have to be careful what frequencies you're allowing your water, your inside, your soul to tune into, because when you do that, it can result into some ugly water molecules. And actually, there's a scientific experiment on that. So there's a Japanese scientist, I think his name was Emoto, right? Dr. Emoto. He did a scientific experiment on water molecules. And what he did, he took one glass of water and he talked positive. He always said how much he loved the water. Very kind words he would say constantly. And I don't know how long this experiment went on for, but the same amount of time that he was talking good to one glass of water, he talked negative to the other glass. So he had two glasses. The other glass that he talked to, he said, "I hate you. You're despicable. You're never going to be anything." Now, as far as we understand, like I said, as humans, water can't reply back to you. But the formations of the water molecule can show you whether it has been loved and nourished or whether it has been neglected and deprived. And so you need to think about your children like a glass of water. If you're always talking negative, if you have them around all this negative rap music, you have them around people that smoking weed, doing drugs, whatever the case may be, you're literally deforming your child and morphing them into something nasty and disfigured. Why? Because you didn't take time to nourish. You didn't take time to filter out all the ugly and the bad as much as possible, because you can't do it all. But all I'm trying to say is we have to be mindful what we surround ourselves, who we surround ourselves around, what type of music we're listening to, because that's, whether you realize it or not, you're consuming that. You consume everything that you're around and everything that you're within. If your household is toxic, you'll start developing some type of illness. And I'm not saying that to wish that upon you. I'm telling you that's facts. You'll manifest it.
I agree. I think that it's very important for us to recognize artists that go independent. A lot of artists like J. Cole, he has a lot of lyrics where he's uplifting the community, where he's talking about how successful you can be if you change your mindset. he became an independent artist because the mainstream record labels weren't playing his music, and they were trying to change the way he wanted to basically produce his music and put it out to the media and put it out to his community. And he didn't like it. And so he became an independent artist. But when you're independent, guess what happens? Now your status goes down. He talked about in one of his raps, he wasn't an A-list celebrity. He was a B-list celebrity because of being an independent artist. So when you're not controlled and doing what the media wants you to do, you lose your stature in the celebrity stature or list stature or whatever it is. But we have to be sure that we're buying music from artists that are actually producing things to help uplift us.
Right, you're right. And listen, in the early 80s when rap first came out, you had a few prominent rappers, like we mentioned earlier. You had Run DMC, LL Cool J, you had Houdini. I'm gonna throw in Curtis Blow, in there too. But when rap first started, it was very stellar. Nobody wanted to invest in it because why? Because the only thing that these guys are talking about was clothes, women, sneakers, and gold chains in their neighborhoods. On a positive note, that's the only thing that they were predominantly talking about. But as soon as the 90s hit, the mid 90s, I'm gonna tell you what happened. When gangster rap came in, off of the West Coast, when they started talking about gang banging, when they started talking about killing, when they started talking about murdering, that's when rap spewed. That's when rap went through the roof. Because why? Because society thrives off of negativity. That's simple and plain. They thrive.
But why do you think it does? Have you ever thought about that? Why do you think people gravitate to such negativity?
Because we're the most undisciplined. People. Because why? Because listen, that's what society promotes. Because look, negative and evil is set at a high standard, and it's promoted and it's glorified. So if you have somebody, look, if you have the neighborhood drug dealer riding around in a $100,000 Maybach or Bentley all day long, but he's destroying your people at the same time, that's glorified. You got little kids, coming and no dads in the house saying, I want to be like Big Andre, the drug dealer. It's glorified. Anything that's negative, that's really put before Black people in an entertainment, sense, it's always glorified. When negative is glorified, you're going to have more people gravitate to that. It's nothing. Would it make someone, Danny in Aisya, would it make a young Black kid go in the store and buy a CD that promotes murder, gang violence? I got a Glock. Let me read something to you. This is a song right here from Jay-Z. This is called the N-word who. I'm gonna keep it clean today. It says shots fired with the fofo. All right, he's promoting gun violence. It says FAGOTS want to talk with the popo. Shoot them like Coco. F-rat, coke sold by the boatload. So when you hear stuff like this and you're hearing that beat and you're hearing it over and over and over, people dancing to it, that's gonna get in your head and that's glorified. That's glorified. You're no longer looking at Jay-Z as somebody that's the enemy no more. You're looking at him as a rapper and he came from the projects and why you counting his money? But listen, let me say something. In a law, technical speaking, really these rappers are supposed to be locked up. If you're on a I
wondered that all the time when I
always wanted that too as a kid.
If you're admitting your criminal life and what you did, how come nobody hasn't put a warrant out on
did not.
The bigger question is, why aren't we waking up saying, how is this okay? Because I guarantee you, you won't ever catch a white rapper in the white community poisoning white children. You see what I'm saying?
But
so why haven't we woken up to that?
It comes from PTSD. And the PTSD it is is post-traumatic slavery disorder.
That's right.
When we were separated based on our skin color, where there were slaves, which would probably be myself and Frank, we were in the field. And then they had slaves who were in the house. And they would separate the lighter slaves and make them tell on the darker slaves. And so that comparison continued. It's embedded in the DNA and it goes from generation to generation to generation.
Right.
And so it's just now it's separated the generations into music, into fashion, into colorism. It's the PTSD, the post-traumatic slavery disorder. Right. It still exists.
Beautiful way to put that. Because I never even related it to that at all. I figured now that we're in 2021, right? Now that we can see everything that we want to see, videos, YouTube videos, the truth is out there. I mean, it's obvious now at this point. Why haven't we still realized what is going on? Why do we continue to poison ourselves? Why do we continue to allow our children to be poisoned? That's the question.
Accountability. We don't look. We're the only people that don't hold people accountable for nothing, for the wrongdoing that they do. We don't.
That's the absolute truth. For example, now I'll give you a quick example of how we don't hold people accountable. And some people may get upset about this, but I'm going to be real. Yes. I'm always going to be real. And it's a video that went viral that's going around about a Black woman who was taking care of a white older woman. Ooh, and this white older woman was throwing food at her, throwing food on her head, throwing food, hitting her in the face. She literally spat on her multiple times.
That's right.
3 times. But the video was long. They didn't show the entire video all over, but this lady had to record it to show and prove to the old woman's daughter what was happening, because obviously her job didn't believe her. Not only that, but the caretakers, the older lady's daughter didn't believe her. And so I guess after a while, they finally believed her. And then she posts another video of her, the Black lady and the old lady dancing and singing together. She just completely forgave her. I'm sorry. I cannot do that. Okay. We need to hold people accountable. You cannot be in a situation where someone is completely mistreating you and then you're laughing and joking with them. No, you're not holding them accountable. They think that, okay, you forgave them. It's okay. I can get away with it again.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed.
Do you think if the shoe was on the other foot, do you think they would let her get away with it?
She would have been in jail. Period.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's true too.
If she would have left the house alive.
That too.
Good point.
Yeah. And Danny, you said something. You said, as far as like, listen, you gotta look at it like this. If you got certain rappers, and I always say this, not all of them, rap negative, and not all of them rap about narcotics and guns and shooting. Not all of them do that. There are some conscious rappers out here that's very responsible for their words. Yes. And, they do have a sense of uplifting the Black community.
Yes.
But it's a shame that you have guys, that are a certain status standard, as far as rappers. Me personally, I want somebody to get in contact with me, and I want them to tell me when was the last time Jay-Z came back to Marcy Projects, okay, and uplifted the young Black kids and telling them how to open up their own business. Okay, right. I'm gonna give you a better one. Okay, if he made his money in the beginning, his foundation money off of talking about his life, okay, as far as growing up the way he did, and we all know that if he made his money that way, okay, don't you feel that you got to go back and you owe the people, okay, you owe that community, okay, something, open up a
so the thing, yeah, I do think that
for Black
I
women,
agree.
Grocery store.
I think a lot of people at that level and that stature, they go through say third party charities and things like that, so they can technically say they did give back. You know what I'm saying? But
a lot of
also,
it's for tax write-offs. A lot of them are not giving back just because it's the right thing to do. They know that if they give back, they're gonna get a tax write-off. So they're gonna keep their money.
exactly.
Right. And nine times out of 10, if they don't secretly go back and physically give back, and like you said, if they go through a third party charity, you better believe it's gonna benefit more. It's gonna benefit more than Black people. You better believe that.
Sure.
It's not gonna just.
And that's the thing. I'm glad you highlighted that, because and this goes back to what I've been saying for the last few years. We have these people in such high ranking and high regard, and they're not using their platform to its full potential, and nor will they ever, because that's not their intent. So that's the reason why you see so many other sub organizations, meaning average people that are creating their nonprofits and for profits, trying to help build the community. It shouldn't take average people. It should take the people who have the resources, bring some of those average people in so that we can all help. The ones that want to help, let us help. That's the thing. But it almost feels as if nowadays they just want to keep people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. To me, that's the biggest problem that I've seen.
Right.
And to have new artists as young as 20, 19, 18, 16 years old in a booth, and you're changing the way they flow, and you're changing their ideas and their concepts of who they are and who they would like to be, how they want to present themselves to the world, is wrong. And they know, these people know that this is wrong, but they don't care, because it's all about their agenda, and it's all about the money that they get at the end of the day.
Right. Very selfish, very selfish. Most of them are very selfish. You ever notice when you have like an entertainer, especially a rapper, you notice that when they do want to promote something within the Black community, it's all about their brand.
Yeah.
And what they do, they subconsciously make you feel guilty about not supporting their brand. It's never about us and what you can do for the whole entire Black community. It's always something they're presenting, in reference to their brand. You ever notice that?
Oh, yes.
Their brand. It can be a box of cereal, They want you to support their brand. It's never, hey, listen, I'm going to show you how I did this. I'm going to show you how to go get the boxes. I'm going to show you how to go get the cereal. I'm going to have a seminar on how you can do this too. Look, I don't want nobody to show me, how they changed the name on the Aunt Your Mama box, to something else. And now you want me to support you. You got about $100 million in the bank, and you want me to give you more money as a Black man?
Come on. And look, hold up. But our community will gladly give it to them. We'll gladly give them our last.
Right. The same way, how does someone go, look, how does a woman go and spend $1,200 on a ticket to see a rapper that's calling you a B and an H?
I've never.
You're dancing to it. You're doing a walk.
I've seen more run.
I'm an H. I'm a B. I'm an H.
Nope.
That's all. That is.
But hold on. To their defense, a lot of people that still go listen to this type of music. Can we all agree that maybe the frontal lobe is not fully developed? And that's not an insult. This is scientific, right? This is scientific.
Right.
Because most people's frontal lobes do not fully develop until age 25. Now, if you're 45 and you still going to see Young Jeezy, well, I don't know what to tell you.
It's a lot of them.
I know. I don't know what to tell you. I said it right here on Sisters Talk. We need to get it together. We live streaming on YouTube too, so I know this is gonna go viral.
Right, and it
is what it is.
And guess what, Danny? You're a scientist, so you can go ahead and say, "Oh, speak those facts."
I'm just saying. Look, what we doing at 50 still at Young Jeezy Club, at the Young Jeezy concert. Now, hold on. I like Young Jeezy. I like his flow. I may not be listening to all his words. Look at me sounding like everybody else. But I like his flow. I do. Young Jeezy, way back in the day, I got a lot of rappers that I used to listen to. However, I'm aware of what I will not be pow-powing nobody and robbing nobody. Like, I'm old enough to know better. But what about the people who aren't old enough to know better?
Right.
And even when you sleep, so they have sleep music, okay? Some people cannot go to sleep without something on. Yeah. When you're going to sleep, and you're putting rap music on or whatever music you're putting on, your self-conscious brain is absorbing all the energy. And you wonder why you're so angry. You feel like you want to explode. Sometimes you're violent for no reason. You're listening to this music. When you sleep, you're at the highest level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're at the highest level of consciousness.
Yep.
And when you're at the highest level of consciousness, your brain is changing to whatever it is you're hearing.
Right.
Find some high frequency music and put it on while you're sleeping to heal your thoughts and your mind and your body. Find some high frequency music that's going to bring love and joy into you.
Hey, Aisya, you see the problem with that right there. Listen, I totally agree. I'm a jazz man. I love jazz. Miles Davis, John Coltrane, love them. Listen, the problem with that is, again, going back to what I said, it's a difference between rap and it's a difference between music.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand rap isn't music. It's a difference. Rap is spoken words over a beat.
That's right.
A beat subconsciously is equates to sounds which make
it sounds like, Frank, that you're saying rap music is like a spell.
Bingo. Bingo.
Oh, okay.
Bingo.
We gonna talk about
Did I get an A+?
Bingo. Bingo. And look, let me say this. Look, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's a spell. Your words are spells. And so that's why I always tell my clients, my children, and any person in my atmosphere, be very careful what you say out of your mouth, because everything you say, you're speaking into existence. Right. You hear people say, oh, well, you know what? I want to get $1 million, or I want to get $20, or I want to get some money. And then miraculously they find $20 walking down the street because you spoke it into existence. Or if you people like, for example, God rest their soul, but the rappers who rapped about dying.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right. That's
right.
Exactly
what we're saying.
You're right. Listen, and just to even bring it, even home even more, any kind of movie that you see that has anything to do with that's associated with anything that's bad and terrible in the hood, what do they always play?
Rap music.
Rap music. Rap music. What do they always play? Rap music all the time. Listen, a lot of times you have people, because music is mood music. Like you said, Aisya, music is mood music. Listen, if I want to go do something bad to somebody, I'm not going to put on a Miles Davis CD. Or I'm not going to put on a Miles Davis CD, because that's not going to put me in the what? In the mood.
That's right.
Right. You let me put on some DMX. I guarantee I go over there in 5 seconds. Okay. I'm going to play DMX from the time I leave and from the time I get there. You know, going back to Cali, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Listen.
DMX from the time I leave, because why? What's going to happen? That's going to spiritually put me in a place that's going to hype my spirit up. And you know what? It's going to what? It's going to what? Promote me to actually do what I intend to do. That's the frequencies. The frequency.
Yes. And for people who just tuned in, we're talking about some deep stuff right now. Look, the beats, the spoken word over the beats equates to spells. Okay. We're not over here doing voodoo. No, we're just telling you the truth. It's in the Bible, for crying out loud.
Yes,
it is. For whatever a man speaketh, so shall he be. Right. And we have to really be mindful of these things. And I think y'all think this is for play. It's really not. And you know, it's so funny, Aisya, when you were talking earlier, how you were saying when you sleep at night, because I do know people personally who cannot go to sleep without having I call it distraction, because I love peace. I love quiet. That's my frequency. Be quiet. Everybody shut the heck up. I just need real peace right now. But for some, they like music. And I do agree, listening to high frequency music is the best thing for you, especially if you have on a Friday night like this, you've been at work all week or whatever you do, you need to calm down, you need to relax, put that on, take a hot bath and just relax. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, I was in a heated situation when I was in corporate America. And I was like, you know what? I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, I'm just going to turn on this rap music. And he said, wait a minute. rap music. He was like, isn't that gonna make you madder? And we just cracked up. And it's true. I didn't realize that, and this was years ago, until he said, why would you listen to that? You're already angry, and you're gonna listen to aggressive spoken word over the beat. It's just gonna promote your anger even more. And now he was absolutely right. And here we are 7 years later talking about the same thing. I just think that's funny. So we have to be careful what we listen to, what we consume.
Right. And that's why really in the beginning stages when rap was really first born, they was just calling it just rap, you know, because you're rapping over a beat, which is just a sound. You know, now and everything they may throw rap music in there now, okay, because it's such on a commercial status and a commercial level right now. You know, whereas that they do remix songs and they put real music to some of the rap now, you know, they may combine it up with the music, with the instruments and stuff. But that hardcore rap is nothing but beats. And like you said, it's mood music. It's mood music. You know, how can you go to bed? You know, you can't go to bed listening to 6ix9ine or not 3 6 Mafia.
I don't know. Some of these teenagers can. Oh, they're doing it.
That's sad. That's sad. Yeah. That is sad.
And then they wonder why their frequencies are so low. And that's the thing. And when I say low frequency, we're talking about depression. We're talking about all the ailments that are associated with low frequency, not being able to manifest the job that you need, not being able to manifest the happiness or the love in your life. All these things that I'm talking about that are negatives, what we call negatives, this is associated directly with your internal frequency. These are real things, people. I think a lot of people think this is fairy tale. This is really true. You are probably 90% water. When you tap water with anything, with a solid object, you disperse. You create wavelets. Those are called frequencies if you were to measure those, okay? We are a walking bubble of frequencies. Yep. When people anger us, your frequency, your internal frequency changes. If I could hook you up to a monitor, when you're happy, you have a different frequency, a higher frequency to be specific. You know, when you're depressed and you're down and you're sad, you have a lower frequency vibration to you. And you have to understand that. If you don't believe me, go do the research for yourself. The information is there.
And that's why you have to be careful who you're around, because if you're around people who are absorbing energies that's going to bring down their frequency, and you're around people who have low vibration frequencies, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have low vibration frequency. So you need to be sure you're not just only paying attention to what you're listening to, but you're paying attention to who is speaking into you.
Right. Absolutely. Because, you know, sound frequency is also associated with energy as well, too. It brings about a certain energy. If you got a 13 or 16-year-old kid all day long with earbuds in his ear all day long, listening to, you know, I shot him, I smoked him, I choked her, you know, hey, I'm a killer, I'm a this, that. If you got that person listening to that all day long, okay, when he takes them out, okay, because what's that's doing? That's programming a person's mind now. That's programming a person's mind, you know, and people wonder why. And that's that word accountability again. We don't hold Black people accountable enough. Nobody tell you to buy it, but you know, kids, you can't monitor your kids. So why even put that out there? If you know it's bad and you got to smack a parental, okay, a discretionary sticker on there, why put it out there and give kids the choice to listen to that garbage like that? If you know, well, it's just entertainment. No, it's not. It's stupidity. That's what it is. Okay. And people wonder why kids are fighting their parents today. Kids don't listen to their parents. They're getting smart. They're cursing at their parents. They're calling their parents by their first name.
They're doing more than that. They're killing their parents now.
Not in my house.
They're killing their parents. So, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is real, y'all. This is real.
It's mood music, you know, and like I said, you know, when was the last time you saw a Korean, okay, rap about, you know, call their woman a bee and a hoe?
I've never seen it.
Or Arab person, you know.
I've never seen it.
Right.
Because the culture is different. I think we need to have more conversations like this to get people to actually understand and go to a higher consciousness so they can see
Right.
what is happening to them. And remember that the PTSD is real. The post-traumatic slavery disorder exists.
Right.
And so once we recognize that post-traumatic slavery disorder exists and that it's embedded in our DNA and we're passing it down from generation to generation, we need someone in certain generations to say, you know what, this stops with me. I'm going to change the narrative of my family structure. And so how can I make my life better? How can I make my children's lives better? How can I go forward and make the generations of children lives better going forward? So if we continue to have these conversations, it's going to make people think. It's going to make people understand, okay, I need to hold myself accountable to a higher standard. Holding myself accountable to a higher standard. Now, what do I need to do? What work do I need to do to get to the level of where we need to be as a community?
Right, right. And you notice, and you notice, and this is, this is me, okay? And you notice how you have like a lot of entertainers that put out negative music and that put out violent music or gang-banging music. You notice these guys never come back and apologize or they repent for what they've done, because now they're not going to get, now they're going to piss a lot of people off. Okay. If you're going to go, and one of the biggest things that a rapper can do that raps negative, okay, whether it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, do you know the effect that he would have on children if he came out and said, I apologize for the music that I made 15 years ago. I was in a different space. I didn't know any better.
I think Snoop Dogg did come out and say something to that effect. Right. When he addressed somebody help me out in the audience. Snoop Dogg was on the Red Table and he was talking about the young lady, I think, who received the funds for the college.
Oh, okay.
Do y'all remember what I'm talking about? Either way, he got into a lot of heat with a lot of different women because I don't know if it was the lady with the college situation or was it someone else, but he said something wrong. He called her the B word, basically is where I'm going with this.
Right.
And so he went on and he apologized. And he also talked about the music that he used to make, that he was younger. That's how he lived his life. And now he's changed. He's older. He's more mature. He's wiser. He respects and loves his wife in the way that he should. It was a growth process. And I think whenever you have rappers like him, I definitely have to pay homage and say, hey, I respect that because you realize that you're accountable for your actions.
Right.
And that's all we want is for you to be accountable for the actions that you do. Now, we're not telling you not to get money, but there's a way that you can get your money with respect and dignity and integrity. Right. That's what we're saying today.
Right. And they'll piss a lot of people off. Look, a lot of these rappers that used to, a lot of these rappers that was mainstream rappers 15, 20 years ago, now they got kids, as growing up, 12, 13, in college now. And now all of a sudden, now their kids are listening to what daddy has produced. And so now, they're like, damn, they're coming back. They're like, my goodness, dad, you said the P word, you dropped the F bomb, you dropped this bomb and this and that. And my question would be to this, that should bring you to a level, okay, and you should say, you know what, let me go back to the company and let me have them pull all of that off the shelves. You know why they're not going to do that? Because it's going to cut their money. It's going to cut their money, right? So then again, you got to ask yourself, are these guys really? Are they really sincere in what they say? Now, Snoop might have been sincere, when he called the woman a bee because he got a wife. And I'm quite sure he was, you know what I'm saying? But really, when you really want to do something and when you really want to, say, hey, listen, I'm really about that, man, pull all that stuff off of the shelves right now. I didn't know I was in a different space. Pull it off the shelves right now. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
They're not going to cut their money.
Right, because
what they could do is they can take those proceeds of the sales and put it back into the community.
Bingo.
That's all. Yeah.
Bingo.
Make it right.
Bingo. I want a list of rappers who made over $10 million and they have went back to the community they grew up in and have set up what we need. What they noticed in the Black community growing up what we didn't have. Now all of a sudden they got the means to do it and buy it for the community. I want to see one rapper that has opened up a daycare center for Black women, okay, housing, supermarkets. Nobody does that. You notice that? Nobody does it. They may buy a store and sell their own clothing in there for us to go and make them more money. But as far
you're talking about an actual charitable contribution to the community. I know exactly what you mean.
I know a couple. I know Shaquille O'Neal, but he was a basketball player. But Shaquille O'Neal is from Newark, and he did make contributions to the community where he helped build up the Boys and Girls Club where I lived. And so I know that to be a fact, but he wasn't a full out rapper. He does so many different things. Right. But we need more than just that. So what we need is, okay, you're going to go into the community and you're going to build these centers. You're going to give us these opportunities, but make it free.
Right.
Community.
Right. That, and we're going to stop promoting self-hate, because that's the biggest thing that I've seen rap music do in recent times is promote self-hate and destruction within the community. So we can't be screaming in one side of the fence, oh, we need help, we want this, we want that. But in the other tone, we letting our kids shake their behinds to whatever. I can't even think of a song right now because I'm getting old. But anyway, 10 years ago, you couldn't miss me with this type of stuff. But that's the sadness behind it. It's like, when do you grow up and realize that a lot of this information, a lot of this music that we're consuming is not beneficial to us or our children? You know what I mean?
I think it also goes back to where we don't, when we have people in the community who, oh man, when we have people in a community,
we see it.
Wow. Yeah, when we have people in the community that are opposite. So for example, I use myself as an example all the time. I did not listen to rap music growing up.
Good.
I also did not agree with what I heard in a lot of the rap music. And so that was the reason I didn't listen to it. But because of that, I was an outcast. And so our community, we always want to feel included. I personally was okay with being an outcast. I don't care. I'm my own energy. Okay. But everyone does not feel that way. Some people want to be included. We need to stop ostracizing people for not wanting to be included with what everyone else is doing.
Right. Or feel accepted. Or feel accepted, you know, by not following your own mind.
Right.
You know, you choose to do wrong over right because you fear that you're going to get ostracized for the person that you are. You know, you feel like a nerd because you speak in a correct manner. You feel that the guy's gonna say, we spoke about this the last time.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke about this the last time I was here. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's the problem. You know, that's one of the problems in the Black community, that you have some very smart kids within the community, geniuses. Okay. Geniuses.
Mm-hmm. But I have to say something with the Black men is even worse because they feel like they want to be a part of this pack. And they gotta have the same lingo and the same style. And if their friend is cheating, they need to cheat too. If their friend is robbing, they need to rob too. Like, it's just a stupid thing that needs to stop and end today. Like, I really like the fact you guys saying, be okay with being your own individual. You came into the world alone, you're gonna die alone. So you have to realize that your individuality is unique to you. Own it. Be okay with that. Love it. Embrace it. And I don't think that our community of Black men in some age groups, in some classes, are okay enough with themselves to do that. And I think that's kind of like what we're battling. So you're up against self-doubt, added in with the rap music, plus the environmental conditions and the systematic racism. And you got a recipe for self-destruction, imprisonment. You see what I'm saying? Ongoing issues for the rest of your life that will keep you stuck in that low frequency. Mm-hmm. That's the issue.
Right.
That is the issue. But the question is, how do we solve it? Where is the root of this problem? That's what I'm asking.
We take accountability for our own actions individually, and we hold people accountable when they're not holding themselves accountable.
Right. And one thing I want to ask is this: how did we come over here together from 1600 all the way to the 1800s together on slave ships for centuries. We came over together, families, babies, mothers, okay, dads. We all came over here together, stacked up on them slave ships. And how the hell did we get so separate? Okay,
PTSD.
that's another topic for another day. That's
Definitely.
another topic for another day. Okay,
Yes.
and people got to realize that, and how soon we forget. We came over here as a unit.
Yes.
We came over as a unit. You know, black women, they was right there with us, chained up, shackled up, you know, your feet, your ankles. Okay, we all came over here as a unit. Okay, so what a lot of people got to understand is this. Now we're individuals. You know, how did that happen? Now you get yours, I got mine, and you know, everybody counting my money. All of a sudden now we're individuals. You know, people forgetting that. People forgetting that. Slavery wasn't that long ago. Slavery
It really was not.
Yeah, about 125 years ago. That hardcore slavery, about a good 125 years ago. I took account of it. About 125
Like I said,
years
some of our great grandparents, you know, maybe even grandparents, you know, they probably held on in certain areas that were less inclusive, you know, or populated. You just never know what's going on. Like, I don't know if you guys seen that movie Antebellum, but that was a good depiction of where I'm going with that. But that's another conversation for another time. But we want to thank you so much, Frank. Aisya, thank you, my co-host. You were so awesome. We had an incredible show tonight. We hit on a lot of pinpoints. Sorry if we didn't know all your favorite rappers tonight. That wasn't the point. The point was to get the message across so that you guys know that what you listen to, it will morph you and your emotions into a place where you don't want to be. It'll take you down to a frequency or a level that you don't need to be. You know, in order for you to be happy, for you to be prosperous, you always want to keep your energy and your frequency high. And remember, that is a real thing that we're talking about tonight. This is not a game. This is not for play. A lot of people are banking on the fact that you will believe that it's a joke, that you will believe that it's not real, so that you can stay at the mental state that you're at. But it's time for everyone to wake up. And this applies to everybody that's a part of the human race, but especially to our Black people. In honor of Black History Month, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Any last words from anyone?
Yes. So I just want to just let everyone know that as a certified life coach, it is my obligation and my duty to help uplift, to build, to encourage our community. And be very, very careful of what you're putting into your body. And it does not just include food. It includes what you listen to. It includes what you hear. It could be people in your atmosphere that are putting in low vibration information into you. Be very careful in what you're intaking into your soul, your spirit, and your body. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you all.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank.
Definitely. And so on Sunday, we have an exclusive interview with Dr. Nesley Clerc Dc. You can find him on YouTube. He is a Black chiropractor. I had to reach out to him because he's doing some amazing work, healing bodies, putting you back in your alignment. And he's just fantastic. I know you guys have probably seen a couple of videos floating around. I can't wait till you guys tune in on Valentine's Day. Now, for people who are single, remember, self-love is the best love. Don't let anybody bring down your frequency because they're all booed up in their relationship, or they may be married, whatever the case may be. Never compare your situation with other people's situations. That's another topic for another day for our people, because that's something that we need to get ingrained, deeply rooted into our souls. We got to stop comparing. We got to stop being jealous of other people's situations. Focus on ourselves. Find ways to love yourself better, and everything that you want, you will attract it. It's a guarantee. So you guys have a blessed night, and we'll see you again on Sunday.
Bye.